fact, the World Health Organization estimates that waterborne zoonoses account for about 75% of emerging infectious disease. Scientist Charles Gerber did the research, and he determined that the average human being carries 0.14 grams of feces on their person. That's a person who showers on a regular basis, who uses soap and water on a regular basis. Now think about that. Think about how often you bathe. Now think about how often we bathe our dogs. So if every person that gets into a swimming pool introduces 0.14 grams of feces, how much poop is the dog bringing in? What about wildlife? Wild critters visit swimming pools as well. No hot, soapy water for them. So the majority of zoonotic illnesses are contracted by fecal to oral transmission. Some are contracted simply by inhaling contaminated mist droplets. Then there are a few others where you just simply need to come in contact with the contaminated water. So you find poop in the pool. What's the first thing that you do? Anybody? Close the pool. Get them out of the water. Remember Roy Scheider in Jaws running on the beach with the bullhorn? Get out of the water. You want to get everybody out of the pool. What do we do next? You got to get the poop out. You got to scoop the poop. After you scoop the poop, what do you do with it? Just wing it over the fence like the people next door? No. You need to dispose of it in means in accordance with your local sanitation department. In most cases, they're going to tell you just to flush it. It is just poop. What do we do next? You need to take your poop scooping equipment and throw it in the pool. It has to go through the same exact process that the water goes through to sanitize it correctly. The last thing you want to do is successfully treat a swimming pool for a recreational water illness, only to recontaminate it later when you go to skim something out. There's two different types of chloramines. We have inorganic chloramines, which are the kind that you get when the chlorine combines with ammonia. Then we have organic chloramines. Organic chloramines are the kind that you get when chlorine combines with the proteins that are available in urea and uric acid. So chloramine is a weak and ineffective form of chlorine. How do we normally get rid of chloramines or combined chlorine? Shock the pool, you superchlorinate. You add a large dose of chlorine to achieve a great point of chlorination. Frogs also carry salmonella. Salmonella is one of the zoonoses that are destroyed immediately in a properly maintained swimming pool. With a chlorine level of 1 part per million and a pH of 7.5 or lower, salmonella is destroyed within minutes. But how often have we gone to check a swimming pool and the chlorine level was 0? Dogs carry Giardia. It's not the same strain that people typically get, but scientists have proven that it is possible a person can contract Giardia from a dog. Giardia is the same threat as if there was a solid stool, human-related, in the swimming pool. So again, the first thing we do is close the pool. Get everybody out of the water. Scoop the poop, dispose of the poop scooping equipment into the pool. Raise your chlorine level to 2 parts per million and hold it there for 25 minutes with a pH of 7.5 or lower. That will inactivate Giardia by 99.9%. Dogs also carry Leptospirosis. Leptospirosis is not a fecal-related illness. The bacteria is actually shed in the urine of the infected animal. People can contract leptospirosis from water. Now, leptospirosis is also not one of the zoonoses that you have to swallow to contract that illness. Leptospirosis enters your system. It can go through your skin if you've been in the water long enough. It can go through an open cut, it can go through a sore, it can go through your mucous membranes, and it can enter through your eyes. The World Health Organization recommends to prevent leptospirosis in a swimming pool, you don't let dogs in the pool. Also maintain adequate disinfectant concentrations. Birds, ducks, and geese carry Cryptosporidium. That's the same threat as if there was a diarrhea accident from a human being in a swimming pool. And we know birds migrate north and south, and occasionally they'll stop in a pool on their way just to take a break. Sometimes they just dive bomb you from out of the sky. See little splashes in the water. Get out of the pool. So Cryptosporidium, it's one of the more resistant zoonoses to chlorine. To treat for Cryptosporidium, the first thing we do after we scoop the poop, close the pool, throw our equipment into the pool, is we raise our chlorine level to 20 parts per million. And we hold it there for a period of 12.75 hours with a pH of 7.5 or lower. How do I know I got my chlorine level to 20 parts per million? Anybody? An FAS-DPD test kit. FAS-DPD is a titration test. It's not matching colors. This kit can accurately test the chlorine level as low as 0.2 parts per million and as high as 20 parts per million. After 12.75 hours, backwash your filter to waste. After we do that, we bring our chlorine level down to an acceptable level for swimming. The chemical we use to lower chlorine, anybody? Sodium thiosulfate, exactly. So why 7.5? Everything I've told you so far, every zoonoses we spoke about, requires the pH to be at 7.5 or lower to inactivate that pathogen. Does anybody know why? Chlorine's effectiveness is pH dependent. Absolutely. And to give you an idea of what that looks like, I put a chart together here. At a pH of 7.2, your chlorine is at 66% effectiveness. At a pH of 7.5, your chlorine is 50% effective. At a pH of 7.8, we're only 33% effective. And look at 8.5. We've all tested water with a high pH before. Only 9% effective. It's there, it's just not doing anything. Sometimes critters come to the pool at night, and why not? Water is a very attractive thing to a raccoon. They get thirsty. Raccoons also have this habit. They like to dip their food in water as they're eating. In between every bite, they'll take their food and dip it in. Now, I've heard rumors that raccoons do not have saliva glands. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do know they wash their food. Even their name, the scientific name for a raccoon, if you translate procyon from Latin to English, it means before the dog. If you translate lotor from Latin to English, it means the washer. So raccoons like to wash their food. Raccoons also like to defecate in water. The reason they do this is to hide their scent. Raccoon has visited your pool at night. It's not uncommon for you to wake up in the morning and look at that top step in the shallow end of water to see that they have left you a present. So what do we do if it's raccoon poop? Well, raccoons carry Fecal procyonis, which is also known as the raccoon roundworm. Now, dogs too can carry this roundworm. And in the intestines of a raccoon, Fecal is not harmful. However, if a person was to swallow 1 or 2 eggs, it could hatch into the roundworm inside their stomach, penetrate the walls of the stomach, and make its way into their bloodstream. The roundworm itself grows to be about 11 centimeters long. If it gets into your bloodstream, it is possible that it could make its way to your brain. If it gets to your brain, you're going to die. There is no treatment for that. So according to the CDC, option number 1 for treating raccoon poop, backwash your filter to waste, then drain the pool completely and hose down the pool walls. After you've done that, you want to replace your filter media. If you have a sand filter, you change out all the sand. If you have a DE filter, you swap out the DE. If it's a cartridge filter, you need to throw it away and get a new element for the filter system. Then fill it back up with water and let people swim. Option number 2 is you can run your filter for 24 hours. After 24 hours, backwash your pool filter. Then, again, swap out the media. If it's sand, replace all the sand. If it's DE, replace the diatomaceous earth. If the cartridge filter, take the element out and throw it away. Get a new one. So why does filtering work for this specific zoonosis? The Fecal egg is huge. In comparison, it measures about 55 microns by 75 microns in size. A grain of salt is about 110 microns across. So with that, if we take a look at the capabilities of filters that are available for swimming pools, a rapid rate sand filter can remove particles from the water down to 50 microns in size. High rate sand filter can pull particles out down to 25 microns. A DE filter can pull particles out down to 4 microns in size. To put that into perspective, a human blood cell is about 8 microns across. So even the filter that we have in the market that does the worst job filtering, the rapid rate filter pulling out particles only down to 50 microns in size, has the ability to filter this egg from the water. So with that, we have to take a look at filtering itself. Now we know on public pools it's recommended that we have a 6-hour turnover or better, correct? And when I say turnover, I'm not talking about the amount of time it takes to filter every drop of water in the pool. I'm talking about the amount of time it takes to filter an amount of water equivalent to what's in the pool. Because as the water goes through the skimmers or the gutters, through the circulation system, and then back through the returns, it's constantly diluting and re-diluting. So to give you an idea of what that looks like, if we were to calculate our turnover rate, first we'd want to make sure we do get that 6 hours. Take your pool volume, divide it by your flow rate. Where do we get our flow rate from? Flow meter. So we take the gallonage, divide it by our flow rate, get that from the flow meter, then divide that by 60, and that will give us our turnover in hours. So in this example, I have a 70,000 gallon pool with a flow rate of 155 gallons per minute. To ensure I'm getting my 6-hour turnover, I would take that 70,000 gallons, divide that by my 155 gallons per minute, then divide that by 60. And I would see that this pool has a turnover rate of 7.52 hours. Is that good? Now, so to figure out the flow rate I would actually need to make that 6-hour turnover rate occur, I take the pool gallonage, 70,000, divide it by the turnover rate I want, then divide that by 60, and I would see that I actually have to have a flow rate of 194.44 gallons per minute in this pool demand. We spoke about the water constantly diluting and repolluting as we run it through the filter system. To give you an idea of what we're looking at with each turn, to understand why we require 20, if we're dealing with raccoon drop-ins, after one turnover, you have filtered 63% of the water in the pool. After 2 turnovers, you've only filtered 86% of the water in the pool. 3 turnovers is 95% of the water. At 4 turnovers, one 24-hour period with a 6-hour turnover rate, assuming there's no design errors, no dead spots in circulation, will have filtered 98% of the water in the pool. So those reasons we just went through is why filtering will work to rid the pool of the Leptospirosis egg. About only a few of the many, many zoonoses. Here's a listing from the World Health Organization of some other waterborne zoonoses that you may deal with in a recreational water bank. Does anybody have any questions for me? Yes, sir.